Okay, I have not been putting up movies lately. I've been kind of busy holiday seasons and whatnot, but that's another story for another time. Maybe I'll do some sort of blog thing for that. Probably not, don't give a damn. If you really want to know what's going on with me, check me out on Facebook. Anywho, today we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus on Ratchet. I really want to go ahead and get a couple of these done within the next couple weeks. I took some pictures of Ratchet, Octane, and Blur today. For those of you who are interested to see my photo work, you can, I'll go ahead and maybe put a link to myself on Facebook, because my photo album on there is, it's getting a little bit of attention. Anyway, okay, Ratchet. Ratchet is an Autobot. He's probably one of the more important Autobots due to the fact that he's, as far as I can tell, the only medic that they've ever really had. If Ratchet ever dies, everybody else is pretty much screwed, because he's the only medic. You'd think robots would, have a fairly good understanding of how to fix themselves, but apparently they don't. I'm actually kind of curious as to whose job that is in the Decepticons line. I've never really noticed like a evil counterpart to Ratchet, and that's all that he does. He's not really a fighter. He's just, I'm in the med bay and I'm gonna fix people, because that's what he does. As you can tell, he is supposed to be an ambulance in the Classics lineup. That's what he originally was an ambulance. Now, this isn't your traditional looking ambulance, and the reason being is I have not actually done the review on Ironhide yet, but for those of you who have the Ironhide figure, or have seen it, or know anything about G1, you'll realize that this is pretty much a redeco of the Ironhide figure from the Classics line. I normally don't like repaints, but if it fits in with the G1 continuity, then I'm pretty cool with it. And Ratchet originally was nothing more than a repaint of Ironhide. Oddly enough, in the cartoon, they did not look really that similar in their vehicle modes. Their robot modes were pretty close, so I guess I can see where that goes. At least the Classics figures have heads. Anyone who owned the G1 toys will realize that they did not have heads, and for those of you who are confused by that, they were essentially exosuits recast from the Diaclone series, so look that up. Anyway, first off, what I do like about this vehicle. I think that the Ironhide mold looks really cool in white with like little red accents. There's not a lot of gimmicks or anything. It rolls really well. Nice solid little vehicle. I like the little design on the side here for where it's almost like a little heart monitor thing. That's kind of cool. And the translucent blue up here is pretty neat. It's also got the red and blue there. That's it's kind of cool. I like that. They actually did do a little bit of detail there on the grill, and that's kind of cool. Normally that's a Repro Labels thing, but Hasbro actually went ahead and did something kind of cool here. It says "Help Us" in Elite, so that's neat. I'm going to go ahead and transform him, and this is actually the thing that I don't like about him. As you can see, it looks like this vehicle was basically in a motor vehicle accident. There are lines everywhere in the vehicle mode, and it's because of the transformation, and it's just, I don't like it. So you're going to pull this up, and that's going to come up. I don't like the fact that they use on this toy a lot of C-clips attached to pins. Those over time can snap and become very brittle, and I don't like that. A lot of things I actually don't like about this toy more than what I do like. Yet again, on the front here, you're going to pull this up, and you kind of have to be careful not to snap this off, which I just did. actually, I'm glad that that came off because I can kind of show you. There's this little C-clip here. There's this little pin. And I don't like it. It's hard as hell to get back on there. But once that's on there, just kind of go ahead and try and focus on this a little bit more. Pull that out. Pull that out. Fold those down and fold them in. Fold these up at the heel and kind of straighten those. And he's at least got big feet to hold himself on. Up here, you're going to pull that out, kind of straighten it. And you're going to do the same thing over here. And these little hands are just going to flip out. You turn that and pull down, and then turn there. Turn, down, turn, same thing. This is kind of a neat little gimmick when you, pull those off to the side. When you push this up, hold on a second. Let me take his gun out. When you push that up, it has this little, like, grid thing pop up with the Autobot symbol in there. That's kind of cool. His head's going to pop out the top there. You're going to roll that up into there and straighten the legs. And then back here, you're going to kind of fight with this carriage. Fold those straight down. And kind of have to, there's this post here, and you just kind of have to get that right from the, there we go. And it just kind of fits in. There's not really a solid way to do that with him. He's a bit of a puzzle box, so you kind of have to play with him a little bit. Well, there's Ratchet, and I mean, on the plus side, he looks like Ratchet. He's this little stocky guy. He's a solid redeco of Ironhide, so there's not much more that you can really want past that. I mean, he did come out second, so I guess if I have any issues with him in particular, pretty much the same issues go for Ironhide. C-clips, the very noticeable lines going throughout the robot mode and everything just kind of takes away from the figure. I also don't like the fact that, I mean, the arms, I guess they're kind of articulated. I mean, you have a little bit of movement here, but just because of that weird way of them becoming the sides of the vehicle, they're kind of limited. His hands, I don't really like, because he can't hold other people's weapons like a lot of the others with like the little 5 or 8mm plugs. The legs just look choppy. I mean, Hasbro and Takara on this one, they kind of, Hastak, whatever, they kind of, I don't know, half-assed him, I guess. I mean, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, because, I mean, this is really the only G1-esque figure that I've been able to, that I know exists, besides the actual G1 figure of Ratchet and Ironhide. So, I mean, and it was a brand new mold when Ironhide came out. It's not like they tried to repaint some other random truck. I mean, they did make him his little red SUV thing, which this is a white SUV. So, it works. It's okay. The gimmick on the gun's kind of cool. He has this peg here that I haven't tried, but I guess the other Autobots and Decepticons technically could hold this. And it has this little thing here where this part's a gun, and when you push it in, then that part's this little blue fluorescent sword. And it can, I like putting the gun on Ironhide and the sword on Ratchet is like his little scalpel. And so that kind of goes on the arm there. And that's pretty cool. I like that. I really do like that on both of the figures. But and they do use the fluorescent blue on the lights. So, I mean, I'd say, and up here, he's got the fluorescent blue. So, the nice random use of fluorescent blue plastic does make this figure's color kind of pop. He is really cool with that. So yeah, that's Ratchet, and problems, but pretty decent figure.